What is up, my colleague friends? Welcome to the video. Thank you for clicking on the link or unmuting it, whatever platform you happen to be on today. Got a fun little, this is kind of like a form I put together today to show you guys. So this form, this is something that I put together, you know, I was just messing around with stuff on my own today, just had the space all to myself. So I figured, you know what, why not play around with some like kind of different techniques. So this is something that I like to do, and this is something I encourage you to do, where I've essentially taken the way that you build forms in a system like Kung Fu and mixed it with the way that you kind of build calibration exercises in Kali and kind of mix it together. Because with Kung Fu, you kind of do a lot longer forms. They're designed to go through a lot of different techniques. And with Kali, a lot of times they're not so long. A lot of the forms are just shorter because they're focusing on something specific. And so one thing that I started doing when I started studying Kali is putting these longer forms together, mixing them together with a bunch of individual movements from Kali. Hopefully that makes sense, okay? And so that's what I'm going to show you today. I recommend, you know, obviously do all the stuff, you know, the actual drills that you're being taught in your Kali school or whatever martial arts school you're going to. But then once you have that stuff down, put them together. Be creative like this. You know, it really does help out a lot with understanding the art form. This drill that I'm doing, it's kind of sort of a multiple opponents form. There are specific multiple opponents tactics that you use that I'm not necessarily focusing on in this. Just want to throw that out there. You got to think about this as more like multiple single opponent encounters, just strung together. So we're gonna have we're gonna beat up 7 people in this form. And so let's just walk you through this a little bit. I like to have a designated spot. Hopefully you can hear me all right. I have to be way back here. But I like to have a designated spot that I always go back to when I do a form like this, because it just kind of helps to make sure that the various places that you're going, you're angling yourself right. So the way that it starts out is we start off in bladed position, and we're going to swing 1 through 4. 1, 2, 3, and we're going to adjust on 4. And then we're going to take this right foot, our front foot, and we're going to put it behind us, and we're going to swing our 1. Then we're going to come out, and we're going to swing our 2, but when we do, we're lifting this back leg, giving ourselves, boom, extended range, extending the range on that, okay? So, come in and 1, 2, 3, feet together on 4, step back on 1, you'd be taking their hand with that, and then taking their head with this one. That's opponent number 1. Then you transition to opponent number 2 with your 3, with your angle 3 strike, as you move up left 45, forcing the transition to contradas, boom, with a broken 4, taking their hand with your 2, stepping into them with a center line thrust, like that. That's the first 2 opponents. So let's do this again. 1, 2, 3, feet together on 4, step back on 1, leaning into them when you throw that 2, left 45 with your 3, up forward triangle with a broken 4, 3/4 with a fluid 2, step into them with your right foot with a thrust. Those are the first 2 opponents. Now, in my mind's eye, I see somebody coming up at me this way. So, if my weapon is in somebody's body right here, you know, I can't keep turning that way, right? So I gotta turn around this way. So I'm gonna turn, stepping back with my right foot, and redondo. Then I'm gonna take my left foot, and I'm going to bridge up the right of the diamond with a reverse angle 2, boom, and then stepping up forward triangle with a center line thrust. Now I'm going to turn, that's opponent number, what is that? 3, 1, 2, 3. Now I'm turning this way, and I'm going to do a Floretti, a number 2 Floretti, and then coming down on a vertical line and attacking the foot. Hand comes up covering the high line. And then this is going to do a teardrop. Boom. Splitting them up the middle as I bring my feet together. So that looks like this. Floretti, down on the vertical, up like this. Boom, that's a vertical strike, okay? Boom, boom. So let's go through it like that. And that's, I'll count the opponents here. So 1, 2, 3, feet together on 4, back on 1, lean into them with the 2, transition to the other opponent with your 3, broken 4 to your 2, taking the contradas line, thrust. Opponent behind me, redondo, bridging with a reverse angle 2, stepping up forward triangle with a thrust. Opponent this way, Floretti, vertical to their foot, teardrop vertical, splitting them in half. Opponent this way now. I'm going to turn and I'm going to do an angle 2, but leave it here. This is more like a parry, and then I'm going to do a largo thrust. So stepping, turn, boom, thrust, like that. Now I want to scan the area, okay? So I'm gonna turn and do a redondo. I see somebody coming over here, but they got a little while. So I'm gonna move towards them, scanning somebody over here, but they're a little further away. So I'm gonna go low, taking the leg, bridge on 3 with my left 45, and then thrust at them as I move up forward triangle with a backhand thrust. Turning to my opponent here as I do a forward horizontal, and then I'm going to do a circular 2, feet come together when I come down, taking the contradas line and stepping thrust in the number 8 guard. I know this is a lot, and if you can't do this, just understand the concept of what I'm doing. If you can't do this exact form that I'm doing, put something else together that you can do. Try to have fun with it. Experiment with your art form. If you can't do all this, and if you're looking at this and you're like, oh, that's child's play, put together something that is complicated for you, all right? So let me go through this again here. I'm going to go through the whole thing. Try to count the opponents for you. So we've got start 1 through 4, 2, 3, feet together on 4. Right foot comes back as I throw my 1. Leaning into them, that's opponent 1. Transition to opponent 2. Boom. Take the hand. Thrust. Opponent 2 is down. Opponent 3 is behind me. Boom. Clear. Bridge. Thrust. Opponent 3 is done. Boom. Opponent 4. 5. Boom. 6 is there. And now I'm attacking 6. Boom. Opponent 7. Like so. We go through a couple of times. Boom. Like that. Gonna do it a couple of times for you guys. go 2 more times. 2 more times, and we're done. Last one, right here. Like that. So it took me maybe 30 minutes to put that together, and then practiced it for roughly an hour before I filmed this video. Okay, so I just wanted to put this up there, give you guys some ideas for your own training, really. Learn the forms, learn the official stuff, really practice it, get that stuff together. And then when you do, play around with it. Put together little things like this. I have found that long forms like this, built of a lot of small calibration exercises, has really helped my art form grow in a lot of very good ways. It's a lot of fun too, a lot of fun to work at. Anyway, that's all I got for you today. If you happen to be in the Long Beach, Washington area and you want to come learn some Kali, come on out to the Long Beach Grange on Sandridge on Tuesdays from 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. Or you can come here to the Long Beach Elementary School Saturday mornings from 10 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. Classes are free, just something I like to do for my community. We are having a seminar this August 17th and 18th. Details, I think you can go on to Kali Center's website and get details on that now. I'm not sure, but anyway, come train with us. If you're around, come do some training. Love to have you. Anyway, thanks for watching it all the way to the end. You're amazing. God bless. Deuces.